So just to give you a little intro to what we're doing here. Usually Voices is a panel talk event. This year Flavourama have kindly collaborated with us to do an interactive evening, an interactive hour and a half. And the theme of the event is going to be judgment. So we're going to be talking about different types of judgment. Can I just quick, by a show of hands, who's a dancer in the room? Who considers themselves a dancer? That is almost 100%. Anyone that has never danced before in their life?
Well.
Kind of? Are you familiar? No, that's fine. It doesn't have to be professional. Just, you've danced around in your bedroom?
Yes.
That'll do. Cool. If there's anything that you're not sure about or, you don't have an opinion on, that's also so fine. So, the idea of this event is that we're going to have some debate topics, we're going to have some discussions between everyone, not just the kind of people that would usually be on stage. So, one thing I want to say is, when we do get into these discussions, please be respectful. I'm going to be here to kind of moderate and make sure everyone's being respectful, but at the same time, please be open and honest. I'm going to help you to try and draw out what you're trying to say, even if it comes across a bit weird at first. We'll work together to pull it out. So I think be open, be honest, share your real thoughts. Like, it's a safe space for us to do that. But also, when you're hearing other people's opinions, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt, give them some grace if they might, take a minute to say what they're saying, and we'll work together to kind of get to the root of what we're debating. Cool? One thing I will say is that this is Sophia. Say hi, Sophia. Hello. She's going to be filming the event. We are going to put it out, but if there's anything super private or uncomfortable or anything like that, please let us know afterwards. But it's all around dance. I'm not going to be asking you about personal lives, so you're all good. Cool? Any questions, thoughts, feelings, opinions? Great. All right, I have an icebreaker task. I usually hate icebreakers, but this one I think is fun. Can everyone go and stand next to someone that they don't know or have never met or have never seen today? Try and find someone that you don't know. It can also be me if we have an odd number. Great, so can you take a look at the person that you're standing next to? Look them up and down from head to toe. Great. And what I would like you to do is you're going to judge them. I would like you to share with that person a prejudgment that you just had about them, right? So you can look at them and say, you look like you're super rich. You look like you're a fun person. Whatever it is, but I would like you to share an honest prejudgment of that person. Go for that, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, how are we doing? Everyone shared something? Nothing offensive, I hope. Does anyone want to share? We'll do one or two. Anyone want to share what their prejudgment was of the person? Go on.
Mine was a little bit embarrassing. I thought we had met each other and we have.
Oh.
So I haven't met him before, and then.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you for sharing. One other? Anyone want to share their prejudgment of the person?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Great. We'll take that. So now I want you to do, I don't know if it's the opposite, but something different. I want you to, based on the person that you're looking at, without any knowledge of them, besides what you just spoke about, I want you to ask one question. So I would say, no, I don't want to give you an answer anyway. So it's like you look at the person, you say, where did you get that hat? Or something like that. Something that you're curious about based on your observation of them. Okay, we're about done? All good? Ask one question based on superficial things that you see. You need a couple? A minute? Whisper to each other? Yeah. Anyone want to share a question that they asked? Is that Anne? No. You're itching your head.
I asked why did he choose silver instead of gold?
And why?
Just complements the skin color more, I guess.
Fair enough. Anyone else? Want to share the question that they asked? Yeah.
When did you get your first tattoo?
Oh, good one. And if you don't mind sharing?
2007, I'm not sure.
Okay, cool. So I think for me, the reason we do this is it's just a nice icebreaker. You speak to people in the room, you get used to sharing vulnerable things immediately. I think the other thing is that these two things are very okay to do in society, I think. And we sometimes don't do them because we're like, oh, I don't want to judge someone. Or I don't. You know, of course, there's a level where prejudice gets really bad, and that's another topic for another day. But I think it's okay to say, oh, based on your outfit, you're really fashionable. Are you into fashion? And you're like, oh, no, not really. I just picked this out of the closet. Okay, cool. You know, based on your height, do you play basketball? You know, like, I think these things are not so bad to share with people, as long as you're open to them kind of, you know, sharing their thoughts with you and be like, oh, you shouldn't assume that I play basketball because I'm tall. You know, this type of thing. So I think it's also a good way to get to know people, and everybody prejudges everyone, I think. I think that's okay to say. Like, somebody walks in a room and we look at them and we make judgments. Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right. And, you know, when you discuss and you ask questions, you kind of learn about your prejudices and you say, oh yeah, no, not everyone that's tall plays basketball, right? So these are the type of things that I think we need to be more open about. This is the whole theme of the evening, and voila, that's why this is the intro. So, we're going to play a game. Cool? Everyone happy to play a game with me? Yes. Wonderful. Yes. I would like you all to make a line in the center. I will be honest, I did not invent this game. You can come forward a little bit if we have space. Okay, so where you are right now is neutral, it's zero, it's no opinion. This side of the room is strongly disagree. Strongly, if you touch this wall, absolutely, strongly disagree. The strongest disagreement. That side of the room, strongly agree. So I'm going to say a statement, and you're going to show me on this sliding scale of a room where you stand on the thing that I said. So if I was, let's do a few warm-up, little testers. Ice cream is the best dessert. So now you would all move to where you... Oh, that's polarizing dessert.
Are you serious?
So nobody feels strong. Oh no, you feel strongly about ice cream. You think? You think? Yeah. Wait, what did I say? That one's agree. Yeah. Okay, so you strongly agree. Okay, cool. So then, can we all come back to the middle? Lovely. Kendrick Lamar is a better rapper than Drake.
Yes.
Just through the wall like Bugs Bunny. Yeah. Okay, we're all scared of that side of the room. All right. Okay, let's go back to the middle then. We'll do one or two more warm-ups. Let's just go. My favorite color is blue. Great. No opinion on blue? Just neutral on blue? Fair enough. Cool. This is a nice spread. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the middle and we'll get into the real question. So now, what I'm going to ask you to do also, you don't have to, but I would like if you did, is when I ask the question, you're going to go to your position. I'm going to ask certain people why you're standing where you're standing. And if you're happy to share, that would be great. One thing I will say is you have to move first. So just upon hearing the question, make a gut instinct decision. You can then ask for clarification if you need to. If I say something you're not quite sure how I mean it, or just raise your hand, I'll go to you, we can clarify or go a bit deeper. After the clarification and or after hearing someone speak, you can move. So if they change your opinion, you can go, actually, maybe Drake's not so bad. I don't think anyone's going to do that. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Agree? Disagree? All styles of street dance are equally hard to master. Are equally hard to master, all styles of street dance. Hip-hop, popping, locking, breaking, house.
So is the middle, I have no idea? Or
If you stay in the middle, it's just like, I'm neutral on it. I have no idea, I have no opinion on this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So you're no opinion, but kind of slightly inclined to agree? No, just no opinion, okay. Anyone would like clarification? Cool, we're all good. So nobody disagrees with this strongly. All styles of street dance are equally hard to master. Okay, you are very strongly opinionated on this. So I'm going to drop the mic, and then I'm going to bring you this microphone. Can you share why you strongly agree with this?
Because you said mastery, or master, and I look at mastery as a pursuit. Some people find it as an end result. So my opinion is probably different than some, or some maybe agree. So with that being said, it's like, how the fuck could you master anything? Because if you have a good stance on something, I think, as the path to being good at it, it unlocks other things that maybe you see why this other thing that maybe you're like, it's easy, like, oh shit, maybe it's not. And then when you get good at something, I'm good at very few things, but the things I think I'm good at least took me a long time. And then I realized, oh shit, I can be so much better at this. And so it just gets deeper the longer I do the thing. And then you said hard. And that's the perspective of if you would have said something like, not used that word, maybe I would have thought differerly, but hard is absolutely the descriptor to try and get good at something. Where if you just said like all dances, it's, this thing, difficult or something. It's like I tie the emotion to hard meaning, I know it's hard versus if you enjoy it, maybe you don't think it's difficult, but you know that you're putting in the work. I don't know, depends on where you're at too.
Yeah, so for example, if I said all styles are equally physically hard, then it's a different opinion.
Yeah,
but if I just say hard, you've got that opinion and you're on a similar wavelength, great. Would anybody like to move now that you've heard that? Yes? Ooh, you're converting people. And who's the furthest this way? One of you guys. Wait, no, are you guys? No, okay. Which styles do you not like? No, I'm joking. Would you share your...
Yes, I was just thinking of when I started to learn different dance styles, how I think I was thinking more of the fact that I have maybe different talents and maybe some body parts are more easier for me to coordinate or not. And also, yeah, I was connecting it to my experience that I had sometimes a harder time with one style than with another. So, yeah.
Great. So your answer is based on your personal journey with those styles. Yes. Cool. I mean,
To master them.
yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of these are going to be open to your interpretation, and it's kind of essential that you interpret them in a way in order to make a decision. I'm not going to hold you to any of this. It's fine. All right, let's go back to the middle. All right, so we're going to talk theatre, dance choreography, that type of vibe. If an audience doesn't get or understand the piece, it means the piece has failed. Oh, shit. We're talking about dance on stage. Or... Ooh. Oh, okay. Interesting. So we're all some version of disagree. You know what? I want to ask you why you disagree but not strongly.
Because with a piece, you often want to tell something to people, and if they don't understand it fully, then the message didn't go through, and that was the mission. Often. Yeah.
So that's why are you not agreeing then?
Because it's like the art from the people that do it. It's not like from the audience. It's not theirs. It's from the artists. So that's why I'm
in somewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone like to move now that you've heard that? No? Okay, let's go back to the middle. It's funny that you said what you just said, because the next question is, your art should be created for you and not the audience. Agree, disagree?
Can you repeat again? Sorry.
Your art should be created for you and not the audience. That sound means I've done a good job with the questions. Yeah. Okay, let's let everyone move first and then we'll do a clarification. Everyone settled where they're at?
Can you just read?
One more time?
Yes.
Your art should be created for you and not for the audience. Ooh, strong agreement. Somewhat strong disagreement. Some neutral. Okay, you want a clarification?
What context are we talking about now?
I mean, we can take this for any artistic pursuit, but seeing as we're at Flavourama, let's talk dance. Dance on stage, dance in theatre. This is kind of where I was going with this, but if you want to take it as painting or anything, you can take it as freestyle dance. Oh, you're back to the middle.
That's different. You said your art. My brain went, oh.
So you guys agree that the art should be created for you and not for the audience, but you're not strong. You're not that strong. Your back's not on the wall.
Yeah, because for me,
If you are not honest with what you want to do as an artist, then the audience might feel it, and then it doesn't work for me. So being really true as an artist and take the direction you want is what make you gonna feel the audience what you want to share. Maybe it's not. So that's why for me it has to come first for you, and then the audience can understand and match to it.
Okay, nice. And oh, you moved someone. Great. Okay, let's move back to the middle. We've got a few more to get through. This one, let's see. Let's see where we get with this one. Art is contextual. Oh no, I'll let you move first. If people need clarification, I can. Art is contextual.
Like it needs context.
it needs context.
Try and move based on your interpretation first, then I'll clarify. So we've got some people agree. Oh, disagreement. Lovely. Should I expand? Yeah. What I mean by art is contextual is that we can't view, judge, understand art in a vacuum. It has to be related to things that are happening. It's, if you have an artist that drew a picture, then understanding where they come from, who they are, the climate that they created that picture in is necessary in order to consume the art. Yes? No, you.
So the understanding of art is contextual.
Art as a thing. Almost like, can art exist out of context?
Okay.
Or, yeah.
It's like context, outside context.
Yeah. Or like, Yes.
What was the first question?
Art is contextual. Art is contextual. Art needs context is another way to say that. To exist.
Something different. Something different.
But, well, put it this way. This is another way to ask the same question, I guess. If an AI generates something, is that art? Because there's no context, it's just a generated thing. So does it need the human context in order to be art? Okay, very split room. Would you share? Hold on, let me grab the other mic.
I don't think that art necessarily needs a context, but what you said with AI kind of, I don't know, it's like weird, because every time I see an AI-generated picture, I don't like it at all, and I can see that it's not made from humans for humans. It's just weird to have that image in my head right now of what you just said, but I mean, art doesn't really need context for you to understand it, but you can look at like a blue picture and still feel something, and it doesn't necessarily need that context. I just said that, but you know what I mean? It's like...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me ask, does anyone have a counterpoint to what they just said? Do you? Yes, John? Do you want to pass the mic?
I think the main reason people are against AI art right now is because just of inner instinctual feeling, and also because you can sense nowadays that it's not like quite there like other people, but as AI gets better, I think it will be so indistinguishable that you probably won't even notice if it was made by human or AI. And then I think the feeling will disappear. I think it's similar feeling to For me personally, for example, when I go to a cafe, I can see if it was made for Instagram or if it was made with a personality. And I think it's a similar thing to that. It's just like minute details, but once it gets to such a level that you cannot tell, it should not trigger any
bad feelings.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to the middle. I will say we're going to have like a more open floor discussion at the end, and if anybody would like to make a mental note to bring these back up, you're more than welcome to, if we haven't spent enough time on it for you. It's impossible to judge art objectively. To judge art objectively, meaning as if, as if we would judge like a basketball match. The ball went through the net, it means you win. So it could be said, some people have said of art that it's impossible to be completely unbiased, completely objective about it, because it's always going to be, there's a set like your opinion or your feelings on it. Other people would say, no, you can break these things down. So that is my question. And I'm going to, unsurprisingly, go to Frankie for this.
Great.
I was actually just about to kind of replace myself just before you get
do it.
Yeah, I was stepping a little bit more back into the middle. And I think it's because, again, I was quickly going through different circumstances with myself about the way I've objectively tried to decide my decision on something on a basis of it being like, it feels that it can be certified because, let's say, for example, there is criteria in place, whatever that criteria involves itself in, and then I'm also questioning the criteria is also put together objectively. So it also made me think, but it's not really concrete also, so it's a layered thing where, depending on where I am in that layer, would make me very dependent on the answer then I give myself based on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Does anyone need clarification on Frankie's answer? Does anyone have any pushback or opposing opinions or agreement with what he said that you can expand on? If not, it's okay. Cool. You are all the way over here, and I would love to know why.
Can you just repeat the initial count again? Sorry.
Yeah, it's impossible to judge art objectively.
I think there is no such thing as objectivity. Let's start right there. I think it's very difficult to implement objectivity when dealing with people and art and measuring art. I mean, I see it also like in research. I come from musicology. Like when we try to measure like health benefits tied to music or dance or whatever, it's super difficult to actually think of criteria how to measure that and how to actually make then people responsible, like in politics, to see how art has a benefit, because that's what they need to see. So I don't know, it's like still a debate in research, and I think there's no way to be objective with art, because we're dealing with people right now. I mean, also to come back to the AI question, like whenever you see AI generated images of dance, it looks horrible. Like there's legs flipping and hands flapping and just, exactly, like the hands are not hands. So I think there's no such thing as objectivity. Yeah.
I feel like you had a...
Yeah, no, I just have a question.
And this may just be me being naive of the idea, but meaning quantifiable? Like the objectivity is something that can be quantifiable, like repeatable or measured? Is that
or like removed of personal bias, I would say.
Yeah, because, okay.
I think, of course, you can think of things to measure to make it quantifiable in a sense, but I don't think there's ever an instance where you can remove humanity from arts.
Totally.
I think that's where I stand strongly. Yeah. So there's no such thing. Whenever you talked about a criteria, let's say for like funding or whatever, like there's always people behind that, and it's just about them deciding what to do and how like they would distribute the funding and stuff like that. So yeah, there's never there's never an instance where it's not humans dealing with decisions at this point. Yeah.
Lovely, great answer. Back to the middle. There's no such thing as being the best dancer. It doesn't exist. The best dancer doesn't exist. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? Ooh. Ooh. Through the wall like Bugs Bunny. Oh, Frankie did all solo. Does anyone need clarification before we... Yeah?
You mean like in contest or
In
world or?
In general. If I said Frankie's the best dancer in the world, would you say... Everybody goes out. Would you say there's no such thing as the best dancer? Or would you say, oh, okay, cool, thanks for letting me know?
It's if you were to ask me the question at different points in my life, like who's your favorite or who's the best dancer in the world, I start picking, like these people are like everything to me for that moment in time. So like, I don't care if there's other amazing, other people's best dancers, beautiful dancers, like I can't tell you how much Jimmy Slide influenced the way I look at dance in general, and there was a time period where 3 to 5 years, no one could touch him. I've never seen the man in real life, ever, you know, and it's like, it's a strange thing, like the superhero complex. I know I'm really, I can't avoid that. I've had so many superheroes in my life. It's just part, I think, of what I take from art in general. But so that's why I say like, nah. There's definitely been.
Okay, nice. Who haven't we heard from? You look nervous, so I'm asking.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I have no clear idea about that, but I think it's just depend on the contest and depend also like what is for you the best dancer. So what do you mean about this? So what's actually your question about it? So maybe some people like think about best dancer like technically, or depends on the contest, or maybe in a battle, best dancer like emotionally, or in this room, or I don't know. So yeah, I have no idea. Sometimes yes, because like some people like I know that make me feel something, so maybe that things for me is okay, you are the best for my point of view for this one, but not the best in the world, you know. So yeah, I don't know.
I would say, although I'm not really sharing my opinions, but I think this answer depends on how you define the point of art. If you define it as making people feel something, the person that made the most people feel the most things is the best. If you define it as technical mastery, if you define it as ability to communicate, like this will all completely change your answer about who's the best, I think. If it's who's won the most battles, that'll be your answer. But let's go back to the middle. We're going to try and get through, let's do maybe 2 more. How many people in here have entered battles in their life? Who hasn't entered a battle in their life?
Enter battle as dancer?
Yeah, as a dancer.
Dancing in the battle?
Yeah. You haven't. Do you people with your hands up mind if we do one about entering battles? You can stay neutral for this one if you want.
Okay.
Cool. If somebody beats me in a battle, it means that their round was better than my round. If somebody beats me in a battle, it means that their round was better than my round. So some mild agreement, some strong disagreement. Let me ask you a different one while you're there. If somebody beats me in a battle, it means that they're a better dancer than me. I'm actually interested in the people who don't strongly disagree.
I mean, grabbing a bit to what was said earlier, it's, again, very subjective, but it does, I think there is always a shared, I mean, again, art is very contextual, subjective, all this, but I think there is layers, like how I perceive it is that there is layers and there is a moment that it's like, okay, from here on, it's like, I connect, and therefore I take this decision. But I think that can be like between 2 or 3 dancers, that there is this like baseline that they need to meet somehow, that they need to go through, that I'm like, at this point, like, you're already out for me, because like there is something that is not there, therefore I cannot connect, you know? In the sense of like, I feel like it says something.
Okay.
The fact that someone beated you, I feel like it says something.
There must be a reason.
Yes, that there is a reason behind why that person connected to it. Of course, then this has a lot to do with who is judging and how conscious are they of their like system inside of them. But I do think that it can say something, but it's very tricky. It's very thin line. But
Okay. Interesting. Let's go back to the middle. I'll do one more. I am completely happy with the way that I dance currently. Can you share why you're... Oh, no, okay. No. Are you agreeing more or running away? Would you share your feelings?
Can you say the question again?
Yes. I'm completely happy with the way I dance currently.
Yes, I think I'm completely happy because I'm doing what I love and I'm continuing what I want. Yeah.
Easy. Why do you slightly disagree? What needs work?
Because I think lately I've been thinking and focusing myself on something else, and then I didn't have enough time and space and training to feel that I am happy and good with my dance.
So, if I'm correct, it's less your dance in a creative sense. It's just that you're not in a space to deliver on what you would like to in your head.
Yes.
Interesting. You are very dead center. Can I ask why?
Like personally, I'm happy with my dance, but also I want it to be like, I wanted to have an equal stretch between being happy with my dance and also wanting more for my personal growth and progress. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay, interesting. A quote that brings to mind is always happy, never satisfied, which I like to live by. It's like you can still be happy with your dance while also wanting more. So I would argue, respectfully, that you could still be that end and want more from your dance. Just my opinion. Should we move on to the next section?
Yes.
Cool. If there's anything from this section that you... And thank you guys for being honest and open. If there's anything from this section that you'd like to discuss more, keep it in your head. We'll do a kind of open floor. I have some prompts, but if there's anything burning that you guys want to talk about, we'll just go with that. So the next one, could I have my judges to the front, please? We have a few special people in the room. So these lovely people will be judging the battles on Saturday. For those who's not familiar with Flavourama, blasphemy. So Flavourama is a dance festival. Lots of amazing things happening. There's more events today. There's more events throughout the weekend. I would recommend going on Instagram and checking out everything that the lineup has to offer. One of the main attractions, is the dance battles, which will be happening on Saturday. Yes.
Finals. Battle Sunday.
Prelims on Saturday, battle on Sunday.
All right, thanks.
That's my co-host. You got it wrong? I gave you the mic! I gave you the mic and you got it wrong! Unbelievable. I was right, but it's okay. Pretend you didn't hear. Pretend you didn't. When is it?
Friday, prelims, and Saturday's the battle.
Yeah, that's what she said the first time. You guys didn't hear. Okay, so these lovely people at the front are going to be judging the battles. Now, this is a very difficult job. I don't envy you. There's a reason why I do this and not judging. And it's not because of my dance skill. But what they're going to be doing is basically watch, for those that don't know, they're going to watch prelims, which means a lot of people are going to go in front of them and dance one by one, and they're going to choose a top, is it 16 that you choose? Top 16?
Yes.
Right, so they're going to choose 16 out of what could be 100 plus, 200 plus dancers. Very difficult. So, one thing that we're going to do is get a quick insight into how they do that. And the way we're going to do that is through a game. So I've asked these judges if they would be happy to do a very quick, maybe 30 seconds, more if they feel like it, dance round for you all, so you can see how they dance. And they're also going to watch each other's dance. Based on the only, and not anything else, but just based on the rounds that they do for you now, they're going to rank themselves from best round to worst round. Okay? And we're going to hear the process as they go. Okay? Hopefully this is challenging and doesn't last a minute and a half, because I planned for it to last longer. So I'm going to put on a song, and you guys can do a quick round. If you guys want to sit this side so you can watch each other, that would be lovely.
Who's first?
Actually, Frankie, do you want to help me out with music? Seeing as you're a DJ. So we'll do the house judges, and then I'll put a hip-hop song for the hip-hop judges. Cool? Next dancer.
Yeah, to all the killers and the $100 billers. For real, because soon we got no feelings. Check it out, man. I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers. Tomorrow comes equipped for warfare. Beware of my crime family who got enough shots to share for all those who wanna profile and pose. Rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone. You all alone in these streets, cousin. Every man for theyself in his land, we be gunning and keep them show crews running like they supposed to. They come around, but they never come close to. I can see it inside your face, you're in the wrong place. Got my team. I guarantee you it'll be your very last time breathing. Your simple words just don't move me. You're minor, we major. You're all up in the game and don't deserve to be a player. Don't make me have to call your name out. You do is featherweight. My gunshots will make you levitate. I'm only 19, but my mind is older. When the things get for real, my warm heart turns cold. Enough nigga to see another story is told. It ain't nothing really. And you're done struck the Philly, so I can get my mind off these yellow back niggas. While they still alive, I don't know. Go figure. Meanwhile, back in way, there's some foundation. If I die, I couldn't choose a better location where the slugs penetrate. Feel a burning sensation, getting closer to God. In a tight situation now. Take these words home and think it through. On the next rhyme I write might be about you. Sunday show, cause ain't no such thing as halfway cross. Scared to death and scared to love, they shook. Cause ain't no such thing as halfway cross. Scared to death and scared to love. Living like that, promise get done. There's numerous ways you can choose to earn funds. Some get shot, locked down, and turn guns. Cowardly hearts and straight up shook ones, shook ones. Hey, what's up? We just shook one.
Amazing! Okay, first thing to say is you guys are really good at dancing. I see why you're judging. Okay, so can you guys just form any sort of line? Just a line here, based on where you're standing. Thank you so much for. They didn't know they were going to do that until about half an hour before this. Okay, so if we said this was agree or disagree.
Disagree.
This is going to be. I don't want to say it like this, but the worst. This one's going to be the best. So, just to preempt this, the reason I want to do this is because essentially what they're going to do now is what they're going to do for the prelims. You're ranking dance based on something you see in front of you. And I think I've been lucky enough to be in a lot of rooms with judges and hear the conversations that go on when discussing why somebody should be through prelims and shouldn't be through, or why they voted for someone and didn't vote for someone else. But what I think is nice is A, seeing the discussions live, and also seeing them do it between 5 high level dancers, right? So seeing them discuss the nuances of like really good dance. I think this is what is interesting for me, but no pressure to, to get into it too scientific. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go one by one. And I'm going to start with Frankie. You're allowed to move one person. That person could be yourself, and you can move them as far or as little as you want. So you can just go, shoop, or you can say, Mavinga, can you move up? Mavinga, can you move down? But you've got to pick someone and just move them, and then we're going to go, and then we're going to keep going until basically you all kind of agree, yeah, I think we're good. Cool?
We're not explaining anything for...
I will, yeah, we can explain.
Oh, okay.
Let's do one round of moves without explaining. And then we'll go from there. So, Frankie Johnson, if you wouldn't mind making your decision.
Can I stand out here?
You can absolutely stand out here. So remember, everyone in the audience, this is based purely on the round that they saw. We're not asking the judges to base it on. We're not asking them to base it on the wealth of someone's career. That's too much to ask. This is just on that round. Not any prejudgments, just what you saw in front of you.
My decision feels a bit like a scapegoat decision at the moment, though. That's what I'm trying to do.
We will not judge your judgment.
Okay. I'm going to put myself here.
Cool. Can you go? Oh no, actually we're not explaining. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so you move one person. It can be yourself, it can be someone else, as you want.
I put myself here.
Are we going to allow that audience? Can we get a general vote? Are we allowing someone to choose to stay still? Yeah, why not? Okay. You said no? You said no?
I said no.
Hands up for no, we're not allowing that.
So not allowing her to stay in her position.
Yeah.
But then we are the judges now.
No, but just whether we're allowing that move in this chess game. So you have to move someone.
I have to move.
Not, it can be not you, it can be someone else or yourself.
I put myself here and...
Thank you very much. Laura, if you wouldn't mind. Interesting. Bingo. If you wouldn't mind.
You're on the right spot.
Interesting. Yeah, let's all move up a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to do another round. So you can move yourself or someone else. You don't have to move yourself. But now I'm going to ask you to explain your decision.
Okay.
And you can't leave everything unchanged. You have to change something in the lineup. If you wouldn't mind going first. You have to change someone and then you can let us know why. Yeah, it can be yourself, it can be someone else, but something needs to change here. Would you be so kind as to explain?
It's not only this kind of situation. I always look for how people can express the music more than technique and skill. And then after that, I look for musicality and execution and like originality and character. Then in this situation, I feel like Blues Joint is the, I don't know how to say in English, play with the music more than other people. Yeah, and that's why I put him to the top.
Great explanation. Could you pass the mic to Laura?
Put me to the top.
I
thought I was last.
No, that's the top. Laura, please explain your decision.
Yeah, so first for me it's quite hard because judging two different styles, it's not the same for me criteria and stuff, so it's quite hard to be on this point. So I would say that I will focus more on engagement and how the dancer and the person was really fully into the moment and stuff. And yeah, so for me it would be that kind of way, mixing engagement, connection with the music and proposition.
Okay, cool. So the line that the way it is now, you're happy with?
Yeah.
As a final line?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Would you mind making your decision? If you pass the mic, there you go. Anything you would change?
Wait.
Tell us why. There's no prize money, sorry. Yeah, could you let us know why?
I thought that she was very on point, really in the pocket, very smooth. Her transitions with all the movements was very clear. Just the space, spatial awareness, communication with the crowd. performance. Foundation was clear. Yeah, great performance. Yeah.
Great. Love that. Mr. J? At least we know they give these things thought.
So I'm gonna reassert myself back to where I put myself in the first decision. And I think again I'm making the decision based off of a self-judgment rather than an overall judgment.
Interesting.
And I think self-judgment on the basis of knowing that I'm implicated in this, so that's where self-judgment comes from. And don't feel necessarily divided in terms of what I think about the other dancers.
Right.
Which is why I'm putting myself first in moving myself to this position. And not that I felt I did any less or any more, but more necessarily based on just, self-critique, self-criticism, if you want to say, I don't know.
Okay, interesting.
That's where I'm at.
I think one thing also to mention is that this would almost never happen, that a judge needs to judge themselves. That almost never happens, but it's a game, so it's okay. Can we pass the mic up? Could you explain?
I put Laura in the last place because I already saw her many times dance. She is very, very strong. And I know that what she gave now, it was like 10%. Because, she wasn't warm up. And I feel like she danced short at everyone. So I wanted to see more. That's why I put her here. But it's not because of her lover, so you know that. Yeah, that's why.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Could I steal that mic from you? And could you come back to where you were placed? Now, I'm going to turn this on you guys. You all watched the same rounds we did. What do you think of this lineup? Does anyone disagree? Yes. Could you tell us, I'm not going to ask you to move anyone, but can you tell me what you disagree with and why?
First, I think it's really lovely to be a self-critic, but it's not your job. It will not be your job for the battle. Second, it's interesting because now I see you're in the position to be a bit scared to have like a strong decision, and I know you have strong decision because when you're an audience, we are really strong and really rush, And I would say I will, there are like 2 moves to do, I think, for me. Yeah.
Which ones?
Okay. For sure. I would say I'm agree with what's your name? Mavinga. Lose. I'm not agree with. And what's your name? Miyu-san. I'm not agree with. Yeah, I would say I will change.
Like change their position?
Yeah, change the position. Yeah.
Okay, stay where you are for now. We're going to get a few more great feedback, by the way, thank you. Is there anyone else that has any feedback on the lineup? No? Yes, is that a hand? No, that wasn't a hand.
I would have a different mind, but...
Go on, give us your thoughts.
I mean, I could tell everybody's giving like small percentage, and I think for me, she had the best pocket for what she showed, but I also haven't seen her dance as much, so it was really lovely for me to see this and like be like, oh, yeah. Other than that, it's like I'm trying to judge almost purely based off technique, and it's fucking impossible. Like so quickly. It's also not an and/or condition or like a yes/no or a on/off. It's 5 people. It's very hard to categorize, you know. 3 more rounds, maybe I would be like, oh, you know. But it's close. I actually think it's very close. I wouldn't have her higher though.
Where in the lineup is that?
Maybe right behind Mavinga.
Okay, nice. So, one thing I will say at this point for you guys is kind of going off the back of what you said. How difficult do you all think that is to judge based on what you just saw? Pretty difficult? Very difficult? Incredibly difficult? There's 5 of them. Imagine 300. So this is where you start to understand their job a little bit better. They have 300 with the exact same time that you just saw. They're also standing in front of you. Imagine that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have to go back to 5 numbers and you're going, 3? It was 3. Based on the notes that you made within 30 seconds. It's a very, very difficult job. So one thing I'll just say at my interlude, which I'm sticking my face in for this, is I think we do need to hold judges to a high standard. We also need to give them a little bit of grace. When they don't make the perfect decision, when you don't agree with the decision, I think there's 2 sides to it, and I think we see this where it's like, there are objectively terrible judges, I'll say that, in my opinion. Not only my opinion. But there are also good judges that have a really difficult job in front of them. So I think it's a 2-sided coin. I'll just say that. Now, going back to you, lovely people. Does anyone of you 5 have a strong objection with where we're at now? This is going to affect nothing of your career, it will not be on your CV. No one outside of this room will ever care about this lineup, but do you have any strong objections that you'd like to say at this point? How do you feel about being ranked the best?
I'm very happy because I'm a very competitive person. But I don't think that I deserve this place because I feel like I didn't dance like, how to say, like, because I felt a little bit uncomfortable with my outfit, and I wasn't really warm up, but I tried just to enjoy like a show because we dance front of you, and for me I will put Frankie or Lose Jones in my position.
I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on their placement in the lineup.
I'm competitive as well. But I also know I didn't do my best here. For me, the rug was a problem. So I was never really comfortable from the beginning, this whole rug thing. So I even felt my ankle like twist a little bit. So it wasn't comfortable. You know what, I'm just happy to be up here. I really don't, it doesn't really move me to be ranked, right? I think everyone up here are fantastic dancers. So if I move, I'm okay. If I stay, I'm okay. So good, because at the end of the day, I'm a great dancer regardless. So.
Both.
I'm actually really happy to be in the middle. And I think this goes back to my scapegoat point, because actually this is where I kind of hoped I could be. And again, I think it's important to say that this is definitely harder for me to judge than a regular event, because I am involved. And there is a difference, there's a huge difference. I find it a lot more easier to make a decision based off of somebody else than myself, and that's just for self-critiquing myself. But I think again, I was in my responsibility within this. I was trying to do this in order to find my position. I'm going to be really honest about that. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm a really competitive person too. And at the same time, I'm really strict about myself. So to be honest, I really want to put myself here. But I'm just happy to share this time with this great dancer, and I have so much to grow. And yeah, thank you.
I kind of find my place like Frankie G and Miyu. It's really hard to include yourself in the judgment, and I know I'm really hard with myself, so same, I feel like I'm really good where I am now.
Cool. Well, can we have a round of applause to the judges, please? A few things to say from this. I think even being ranked like this, you know, you're last place, but being last place in this lineup is still higher than 90% of the world. So you're still in a good company. So I think this is also, it's interesting because it's like you can be kind of ranked last or towards the end and still know, like you said, know that you're a fantastic dancer and you're still doing great. I think this is a great lesson for us when we don't get through prelims or we lose a battle. It doesn't necessarily need to reflect on... Exactly, and nobody here, I don't think, I hope not, has changed their opinion of themselves as a dancer based on this. And I think partially that, and the reason I felt okay to ask you five this, is because they've all collectively had years of experience battling. So they're used to being judged, and they're used to it not, as competitive as you may be, not changing your opinion on yourself as a dancer. Does that make sense? I think also you can kind of see, which I think is nice for me, or maybe for less experienced dancers in the room, that you guys have the same worries and feelings that we have when we enter prelims. You know, like, I didn't feel good about my ankle, or I wasn't sure, or whatever it might be. Like, everyone feels that, and I think sometimes when we see you guys winning battles and killing everyone in the world, we kind of see it almost as like superheroes. I don't know if anyone else has ever felt like that, especially when you're younger. You're like, oh, they never worry about anything. They never get nervous. They never feel bad about their prelims or whatever. And I think it's clear to see that they've all kind of expressed some sort of, I didn't do my best, I could have danced better, or whatever it was, and we all feel like that. So I think it's nice to hear that as well. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate your honesty. And yeah, I think one other thing I'll say is that it's interesting what Frankie said about it's finding it very difficult to judge yourself in a round, because one thing, and I haven't heard you do it, but one thing I hear a lot of dancers do, they battle, they lose, they walk off and go, I won that. And it's like, well, you were in it, how can you judge yourself? But it's very difficult to judge yourself based on a round that you just did until you watch it back. So I think this is also something to keep in mind, is like when you walk off, go, I got robbed, it's like, well, all right, based on you felt great, doesn't mean it was good. So yeah, I think that's also something to keep in mind. If you guys don't mind joining you guys can move forward a little bit, we can all just sit where we are. I just would like to do like a little open floor discussion, if that's okay. So, I'm from London, and we used to have an event a long, long time ago called Style Fest. I don't know, I mean Frankie will know, but... And one thing that I think was amazing at Style Fest, it was at a time in London when there was like no battles, there was like 3 a year or something, it was crazy. And the community was very small, like the whole scene could fit in one room. And one thing that they used to do, which I think is brilliant, and I do actually aim to bring back at some point, is, I don't know if you remember this, they used to do the prelims, and between the prelims and the battles, while the judges voted, they did this. They had an open floor discussion, and they just passed the mic around, and anyone who had a grievance, anyone who had anything to say, and it ranged. It went from like, oh, we need to be better at this, to like we had a crump crew called Wet Wipes, who would every year would take the opportunity to go, we're the best in the room, anyone that has an issue, come at us. And it's like, all right, that's not really the point, but cool, like, it's open floor. So this is kind of what I want to do with this section is, I've got some prompts that I can bring up if we don't have anything in the room, but I would love for people to ask questions. I would love for people to, and not necessarily because there's someone in the room that can give you an answer, but just share with us questions you have about the dance scene, the dance community, Obviously, if I can answer, if anyone here can answer, we'll pass the mic around. If you have any statements to make, anything you'd like to just say to the room, we'll do that. And yeah, I'll moderate so it doesn't get too heated, if there's anything like that. But yeah, if there's nothing, I'll give you prompts, but can I just ask if there's anything we'd like to start with? Yes? Catch. I'm joking.
There once was a style called clowning, and I don't know how it developed or where it went. That's my question.
Is there anyone in the room that could provide some clarity? You don't have to be an expert, but yes?
So, I could be completely wrong here. Are you talking about style from South Central LA? Clowning like we're sea walking. So there's a documentary, I can't remember the name of it off top, but if we get information, I'll find it for you and send it to you.
It's called Rise.
Rise?
No, not Rise, before Rise. Rise, actually Rise is really good too. Rise is really good too, watch that. There's another one that was like more like from this, like a street, not like as well produced, so it's not quite as informative, but yeah, that's good. That's actually good, but we can still exchange it now. Remember.
I don't know so much, but I do know that Boomer the Clown, which I think is also responsible for originating the movement, he's still... Tommy, I don't know, is it Tommy?
Tommy was the one
It's
that
Tommy,
was at
okay, so
the
sorry.
pop out.
Yeah, it's, Boomer is, I think he's actively involved in the scene. He's still teaching, and
Oh, wow.
he's nurturing and providing for the community in South Central LA. And is also hosting events with Tommy, I believe, as well, and all of their students, and they go around performing, like in the street. Yeah, and it's still happening till today.
My add-on to your question would be like, is or was that a precursor to Crump? Did it influence Crump, or I don't know if you guys know
It's
anything.
a separate movement.
It's completely separate.
There's a bit of a confusion because people assumed it was under the same things, but no, it has its own vocabulary. It's not identified as the same.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought it did.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought.
Interesting.
But I could be wrong.
I think there have been battles where they try to figure out which style is better.
Right.
Are you satisfied with the information you gained? Great. Anything else? Yes, behind you.
Can I have a question?
Anything, yeah. Change the subject, whatever you want.
I will have a question to house judges and house people. First, there was a Summer Dance Forever, and there was a lot of different discussions about what happened, top 24 and everything.
Clear the schedule.
Not to continue the discussion, my question will be more like two. The first one is about how do you feel as a house like culture representative about like the battle? Do you think like it's really fair to give so much attention and thought for house battles? And the second question is more what maybe should be more in house culture?
Can you repeat just the first question? Sorry. Can you repeat the first question?
Sort of how do you feel as a judge in a house culture, in a house community, since house not coming from the battle scene more, it's more of community exchanging. So how do you feel yourself? You're still judging and think it is important, or you would prefer to see more of other events, not battles? Like, do you find your role as a judge in a house culture really valuable? And maybe I'm confused right now a little bit more.
That's what this is all about.
If I understand that. For me, when I judge house battle, of course, house comes from the clubbing and stuff. But I think for me, as a house dancer, it's important to know, of course, the culture, because when you know the culture, you will understand as well how to dance. For example, when I do a battle, I have two two formats. So I have the format battle, the format in the cypher clubbing. And when I battle against someone, I like to use these two formats because for me it's about exchange. So I know some people are very like battle format all the time. But for me, in preference, I like when there is when you see the clubbing picture because it's come from this. Of course, you are in a battle, so you have to. You don't have to, but let's just say you have to like be in a battle rules, if I can say that. But it's okay for me as well if you are not, because for example Marike, I don't know if you know Marike, she's not in a battle format, you know. She just dance and she dances very softly, and I really like this vibe as well. But I can also understand someone who is in a formal battle. But I think it's important as a dancer to have these two formats. But for me, I will prefer someone who is in a clubbing format into a battle. I don't know if I answered to the question. Yeah.
It's going to be a stretch. So sorry if my brain goes all over the place. I think something that comes to mind first is I'm going to explain my opinion on how I feel about house dance contests. And I think the honest answer right now where I'm at with it is they've never been an issue for me. I've just made the objective of realizing that they're not what entails in terms of my whole experience with house dance culture, and realize that it is an adaptation of something that has pre-existed before it. And you're realizing what are the requirements that come with entering that space. So I've always objectively looked at these different spaces, these events, my position in these events, as they're different spaces that require me to apply myself differently. So if I'm in a party, it's not going to reflect the same way I'm going to be in Summer Dance Forever. Or the same way I'm going to dance in Summer Dance Forever is not going to reflect in the same way I'm going to do a judge demo at Flavourama. Or, you know, so these spaces are very particular and have different requirements and aren't necessarily contesting me to dance the same way and have the same dance experiences or connections in terms of how connected or not connected I am to something culturally speaking. But each space is going to demand something of me differently. So again, I don't look at contests really being a reflection of the culture. It's something that is adapted to be a part, let's say it like that, but it's not the epitome of where, or the base of my involvement in this culture stems. And I think an issue that happens right now is that there's a lot of focus on the contest, and we put a lot of value in the contest. So what this does is it creates a kind of misconstrued image of the importance of certain things that these dances or these movements and these rituals, let's say, really entail, and it gets disturbed. That image gets disturbed, and we put our attention sometimes too far into something that again distracts us. So, and again, that's taken me a while to kind of arrive so far to this point of seeing it like that. So it's not necessarily, again, when I'm putting myself into these spaces, I'm not trying to validate myself in terms of how I'm participating in this. I think where I do validate myself, it's being able to stretch it into how my participation continues to evolve and explore outside of those contexts. So what am I contributing? What am I trying to innovate? What am I trying to give back? What am I actually trying to continue? What am I trying to pass on? And sometimes, again, the contest it plays. One person who told me it always stuck with me when he told me this was Ricky Soul. Ricky Soul said this beautiful thing to me years ago, and he said that the contest for me it's like the pinky nail, like the battle's like the pinky nail, and then the rest of your body is everything else that you're being a part of. Yet we put so much emphasis in this, And this is what, for some reason, this just stuck with me, and this has been something that I always come back to. Look at my finger like this. You know, it just reminds me that there's a lot more to this, but I'm also a victim of putting sometimes too much attention in one thing. So this is why I hold myself responsible to be like, what is really the value in my participation in this? You know, so again, despite the dramas, despite everything else that happens and these things, again, they arise. It's looking at the wider lens for me. And so again, that just reminds me of where I am really truly valued, or where I find value in this thing that I'm doing.
Question. Can I add something really quick to what you said? Or just not even add something, but just something I would say on that. I think the difficulty with this culture versus competition thing is like, there is a lot more business opportunities based on this battle culture. And I think this is where there's a bit of a duality, especially in my head, where, you know, I agree with everything Frankie said, but I also think being able to make a living as an artist is beautiful. So it's a bit of a conflicted thing where I'm like, you know, I do feel personally like, you know, the battle culture removes a lot from the original, you know, the way these dances were created or meant to be shared. But at the same time, we have generations of dancers who are making a living off traveling the world, sharing these things, connecting with people. And me being in these spaces, I'm like, even the people that I've been fortunate enough to connect with, and I'm like way below the success rate of some of the people in this room. And I'm like, I'm so grateful for this competition circuit because it's enabled me to, you know, live a really beautiful life. And, you know, I see like what Frankie and what these guys do, and I'm like, this is amazing. So I mean, I don't really have a final point to make, but it's just interesting that there's a bit of a duality in that.
Yeah, just to add on, sorry. It's just perfectly said. And I'm realizing that also with this position, I was able to maybe have certain positions because of actually the battle. And that's a realization, and I don't take that for granted, and I don't forget that actually there are certain things that these platforms, which we do have, do create opportunity. And actually I wouldn't maybe be here if it wasn't for these things. So again, I'm not excluding it, I'm just realizing that these have always been adaptations and things that are becoming more inclusive. You know, I've always said this, the reason why anything should come across negative or positive is the people and how they're using it. So if us as people are treating these events the way that we're treating them and they become problematic, it's a reflection of us and how we're participating in it. It's not the event.
It's not inherently a negative.
Exactly, it's not the event, it's us.
Yes, with what you said, Frankie. I wanted to ask a question. So you have like one dancer, this one dancer have clubbing energy, and the second one have battle energy. So I talk about house. So which dancer can dance in any event? If you understand my question.
This is me, sorry.
No, it's
okay.
one.
I didn't understand.
So my question is, so you have one dancer number one have a house energy in his dance, and the second one have battle energy. So which dancer which dancer can dance in any event, any space, any context, whatever?
So you have the mic, so I will answer. And I will come back to the other topics. I think it depends on the decision you want to do. If you want to go to the battle, it's your things, you know, and of course you will be stuck inside the stuff because I think it's like enough like a loop. And if you like the clubbing aspect, you will come sometimes back and forwards to give some energy, and nose is not the final stuff in your dancer career. I think it's personal. It's not about us to judge, but it's more like a really personal statement as an artist to do where you want to perform. But sorry, I was stuck with what you said. No, I don't want to catch you, but I feel with our culture we give so much intention for the battle because it's just also a soft capitalism. And I'm going to talk about my parcours, so I cannot talk for everybody, but really I want to share, I didn't say this, I'm still dancing since a long time ago. I disappeared. And I didn't really disappear, I just did something the culture was not interested about. I did research, I did music, I was produced music, produced techno. I never see any dancer, any of you, I never see this in the club. You know what I mean? Means like you can say everything, I think it's lovely to say that, but there are a bubble of dance, or there are like culture, and there are like this intra-culture, intro culture, you know, but it's not open. And now we're talking into the museum, modern art museum, you know, and there are a lot of dancers that did the transition, but they was not supported by the movements. And this is a problem for me, because like you can say whatever you want about the battle, but the battle is something exactly what you say. We create a condition, but what about like performance? What about like sculpture? I know so many dancers that did the transition to be sculptor, painter, singer, composer, filmmaker, but the culture didn't give any intention for this. For I think there are like a way, or people they are maybe scared to step out and say, maybe I'm gonna try something else. But of course, if you try something else, if the culture doesn't support you, yeah, you're not gonna live with your art. But me, I do. I live with my art, 100% artist. And but I was at this kind of struggle with the culture, saying, well, people doesn't give a fuck about what I do. Strange. I have a lot of stuff to offer, you know, because I'm like OG, you know, like I know many of you don't know me, but I was like I was in the finals with Juste Debout. I did the abstract, I did the music for the abstract. I'm really deep of the culture. Joseph Go is my uncle. You talk about like Ricky Sol, all those guys, they made me, you know, Mish and everything. I know you know. So, what the fuck, guys? I just say, but not about myself, but what the fuck about like to be open to just like don't see what I said you said before, see somebody win a battle as an icon. There are many icons, many people they can teach, but we have to a bit like reshape our culture, otherwise it will be like commercial as fuck. You know? And you can say everything, but think twice, because you lead the culture now. It's not myself. Me, I'm old. Almost I say I don't care. But the young generation, you have to know you are in charge of your culture. If you let people decide for you what is the... You know, when I see like all this stuff happening around the battle, I say, I have really the feeling about like, this is the only way. No, there are like a lot of stuff. Every type of stuff we consume by the hip-hop culture, even the hip-hop culture we can say is like kind of like soft capitalism. It was movie, the right thing. It was music, it was fashion, it was all this stuff. Where is the actor of this in this room? This is my, I don't criticize, I don't say it's your fault. I just say, think about this. You know, think about like how you can plant a seed in the culture and make something, or we're gonna have like researcher, like we're gonna have anthropologue, but from the hip-hop culture, not from outside, you know, like from the culture itself. So yeah.
I have a strong opinion on this whole topic. I have strong opinions on a lot of topics. I think one thing for me, and this is something that I always talk about and I always rant about, is that, like you said, this kind of battle culture is something that's like man-made, you know, it's not an organic thing. That we've come together and decided we're going to format these things in a way, run events like this, and there's instances, I mean, we saw with some of the stuff that happened at Summer Dance where it's become too removed from the original culture, and you know, there's a lot of issues that arise. For me, one of my biggest pet peeves is that I think the people that need to be held responsible for the way the culture moves is event organizers. And I think they are the ones that slide slimily out of the conversation every time. And it comes back on the judges, it comes back on the participants, it comes back on the dancers, and it's like, but who put those judges in place? Who didn't give them a criteria? Who didn't give them a code of conduct? Shout out to Flavourama for doing that. Who didn't give them, you know, like who, for example, one thing I remember, I haven't been dancing the longest in the world. I started in 2007, and I remember the thing of being a battle guest. It was never only about being the best dancer. That's why you were a battle guest. It was, you bring creativity to the event, you bring something different. Sometimes I've seen battle guests where it's like, it's just somebody's in town for the weekend and you want to you want them to be the guest at your event. You're like, oh, you're never usually here. Frankie's here. He might not, like, you are a great dancer, but he might not be a great dancer in this analogy. But I want you to be a battle guest, just out of a show of like, welcome to London. Like, come to my event and be a guest. And like, it's the event organisers that have changed the way these things go. And of course we follow, and that's our responsibility to not follow and to put pressure. But I think the pressure, for me personally, the pressure should be put on event organisers to do the right thing. And for us, I don't want to say this too harshly or bluntly, but to not be sheep. It's like, if an event, and I know, like, I mean, I know you do this, but like, if an event does something wrong or does something you don't agree with, don't just blindly go back and give them your money because everyone else is going and you don't want to miss out on the popular event. Like, you have to speak with your wallet, you have to speak with, you know, not being there, putting pressure and saying, I care about the culture, I want it to go in a certain way, and you're all, like, I'm not saying you all have to believe the same thing about the culture, but have a stance. I think this is important. Have a stance, have an understanding, because in order to have a stance and an understanding, you have to research, you have to understand where these things came from. And when you do that and you act on it, I think that the world becomes a better place. This is wider conversation than just this, but if we all take a stance and act on things that we believe are wrong, or, you know, the world's going to be a better place. When we sit back and just go with the flow, that's when things turn to shit, in my opinion. But yeah. Any other, yes, yeah.
Hi, sorry I was late, by the way. So I just have, now that we're getting to summer dance that was brought up. So, listening to IC speak about music, right? So for me, if you guys will see in the weekend, by the way, I love music, right? So my connection to it is very much, I believe, there. But when you are doing a pre-selection and you're being told you're not dancing on music, how do you take that? Because every single day I'm listening to music, I'm dancing to music. How do you move forward with getting an answer like that and then realizing, like, I don't actually agree with you, but then you are the judge. I have to agree with you because you're giving me that information, like, okay, sorry, go back to the drawing board, go listen to music, but I am listening to music. So how do you move forward knowing that that's the answer you're getting?
Do you mind if I give an answer to this? And then if you guys have pushback, please feel free. I think for me, one distinction I've made as a dancer is between your art and the packaging of your art. And I think you can't attach yourself to the packaging. Like, you know, it's like doing a theatre piece. You make the piece, then you have to sell it. So you have to come up with a trailer, you have to come up with all the materials. You can't attach yourself to that part of it. That's just what gets the job done. And I think when you're being asked to enter a prelim, enter a battle, what we're asking you is to package your dance for this prelim. And I think, I don't know if you guys would agree, but I think, like, if a judge says to you, you know, you weren't on the music, or you weren't interpreting the music properly, or whatever it might be, they're not saying you don't listen to music, they're not saying you don't understand music, they're saying in that 1 minute, in that 45 seconds, you didn't package it well enough for me to see that you can understand music. Does that make sense? And it's like, this is a skill in itself, and there's some people that are, I actually think Frankie's one of them. I've seen him dance not in battles, and he's a fantastic dancer, but I often use Frankie as an example when I teach dance, of like, being someone that is so good at making it clear exactly what he's doing and why it's so good. Because some dancers, it's like, oh yeah, I kind of like him, but I don't really get it. Like, I could show my nan Frankie, and then they'd be like, wow, that's a pretty good dance. And I think that part is not necessary to speak of the depth of his dance, because there's plenty of other people that can also do that, but he packages it beautifully, I think, and makes it readable for an audience. And I think that might be where the disagree, because you're like, my dance, my art is that, but the judge is saying something different. And I think the way I think of that is, it's the packaging that wasn't as much on point as it could be. I don't know if you, yeah.
Did you ask him why he said that?
Well, I wasn't there. I saw it. I have crew members that were there, but they got the same answer, and I was a bit confused because I know them, and I know how they dance to music. Maybe the way they dance is not correctly to formula or terminology or whatever, but it's how they express themselves. And that for me is how I know I'm dancing to music, is how I express myself. So now getting told, okay, you're not dancing on music, it kind of confuses me, you know what I mean? So that's just the question I'm trying to figure out.
I think for me, because we wasn't there, so I think you should ask to understand why he said that. And I think also it's not because it's the judge that you have absolutely to agree, even if he's the president of, I don't know, the IRT. If you disagree, it's okay, because you have to understand. I think, yes, because this judge have like experience, so you have to pay attention, but to completely agree like blind, not so. It's your right to disagree and to ask some questions to understand why.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. That's a good answer. We are kind of getting towards the end. Does anyone have any last pressing things that they'd like to ask or share with the room? Yes.
Art is a beautiful thing. Culture is a beautiful thing. I think one, because all these things get really deep really quick, as we've witnessed, and everybody made some great points. One thing that I've learned from people much older than me that come from something that don't even talk about them coming from something because they're just a part of something, be it a culture or however we want to look at it or study it. A lot of the times, the beauty and what it is and why they're able to be in their 70s and still just enjoy something that they're part of in the company is that they see everything as an and. It's like, this music's great, oh, and you dance to it. Oh, this music's great, oh, and there's competitions. Oh, this music's great, and there's a style of clothing. And like, they don't even necessarily, this is just my observation, right? It's not necessarily like, I'm living this way. I struggle with all the things. But I think it's a really beautiful way to look at all of this stuff. And it's a little fucking San Franciscan of me. Like, all the things are great and shit. Like, I'm not saying don't develop your my lesson from them is, doesn't mean you don't develop an opinion, you don't develop like a purpose or a passion or a way to express yourself. But I think it's just a really good condition to be like she asked about competition versus like the clubbing thing. It's like, if I was to ask the same thing somebody I was with last week, this group of people, they would be like, one or the other? Like, what are you talking about? They're both super great. You know, they couldn't even fathom the fact that what we do has contention against the originality of the culture. So that's just a really good perspective that I continue to learn as I've gotten older around older people that don't even see how we look at these things. But that I also want to say, and this is more my opinion, that I think that's actually a really powerful thing, that we're able to like really mold the art and study the art and take away something. Just realize that's your fucking opinion, it's not everybody's. So.
Thank you so much. Also, so I'm just going to wrap up because I don't want to get in trouble. Thank you everyone for being here, first of all. It's been amazing. You've all been super honest, super open. I really appreciate that because it's not easy. It also speaks on how you've all received the opinions. People don't open up unless they feel like they can. So well done to all of you for also creating that space. This is not a plug, but I have a podcast. And the reason I started, one of maybe two reasons that I started the podcast was because I would travel. When I first started dancing, I traveled to battles all over the world. And I would, after the event, we would go for dinner. You know, this always happens. It's like a group of random people that you're like, I don't even know how this group ended up at this table. But you know, you'd end up at me as a 17, 18-year-old, I'm like at tables with like Salah and Monster Pop, and like people, I'm like, how am I even just eating my noodles? Like, what the hell? And like, one thing that always struck me when I was younger, you know, is like, people would start talking and debating after events, you know, it might be like these three, and Liz Jones like, yeah, Frankie, how come that guy won house? And Frankie's, well, I think this, and then he says he disagrees, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, you know? So for me, I wanted to start a podcast because I was like, I grew as a person, as a dancer, like from listening to these conversations. Then I got a little bit older and I started to have an opinion, and I started to join in. And it changed my whole life, like conversation and like learning from people, not through classes, not through, you know, online, whatever, like through talking and sharing my opinion and getting told that I was fucking wrong. Like, yo, Frankie, how come that guy won house? I think the other guy was better. And Frankie's like, all right, here's why you're stupid, right? And it's like, I mean, he never said that, but I learned so much from sharing an opinion and getting told I was wrong. So all that to say is, for me, the reason we do this event, the reason I do the podcast, the reason I think panel talks are such an important part of events is like, this culture, for the most part, is an oral culture, right? It's like we've shared it through storytelling, through even rap, you know? It's like it's all orally passed down. Now we have media and stuff, which is a blessing, I think. But I would say to all of you, one thing that if I can leave you with is like, don't shy away from conversation. Don't shy away from sharing your opinions. I hate to hear people say like, they'll share an opinion and then be like, yeah, but I don't know anything, I'm not even, you know what I mean? It's like, no, your opinion is valid. You might be wrong, you might get educated, but share your opinions, have conversations, ask questions. I think it's, not only is it the way we grow as people, but it's the way we grow as a community, is to like share these things, and to talk about them, and to put stuff out in the open, you know? There are people, not naming any names, that don't like to be questioned, but they're not representative of everyone, and they're in the wrong. If you don't like to be questioned, whether it's, you know, Frankie knows years more of, sorry, he's the one I know the best, that's why I keep talking about him. But like, he knows years more than me about house. It doesn't mean I can't ask him a question or question his decision. And then he's going to tell me why he made a decision. But the initial ask is not a negative thing, and we get scared of that. We get scared of saying, I think Frankie was wrong. It's fine to say, you know, and we've seen that today, we've seen that with you guys debating, and I just think, for me, I'm so passionate about how important it is to have conversations and to share opinions and share knowledge with each other through this. So, if you take anything away from today, it's to do that. Go and ask questions, go have conversations, go be honest, go be open, and the world will hopefully be a better place for it.
And what's the name of your podcast?
Oh, the Capsule Podcast. Frankie's been on it. We're overdue another episode. Actually, right now will be a great time. But yeah, we're 270 something episodes, so it's coming up for 4 years. It's a lot of work. But yeah, we're weekly episodes. Sometimes it's guests, sometimes it's us talking about current topics. The most recent one was about summer dance, so if you want to watch that. But yeah, honestly, thank you all for being here. Thank you to Flavourama. I'm so happy to be here. Please check out all the events that they have going on over this weekend. It's going to be an amazing weekend. Please stay, enjoy. There's something happening now at 7 or not. Yeah, that's why I'm going to finish now before I get told off. Thank you guys for being here. See you next time.